people who were running Chateau Disco, something happened with all them, and I guess they split, and one of the guys founded what's called Love House, or was, and it was basically, for me, it was just the summer sessions. We would do it every other weekend at Galactic Center, and then once the summer ended, we stopped doing it, but essentially, I was just doing these house parties in college that my friends and I would throw, and then we decided to rent out the Galactic Center for a party, and that guy saw me playing and was like, all right, you're coming over to my house tomorrow, right? I'm like, I guess, sure. And he just has this big-ass fucking mixer and 2 XCJs, and he's like, here you go, play on it, I'm leaving. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna record everything you do, and then we'll talk later. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, I literally was playing on a pirated version of Tractor on my fucking computer with the mouse, like, sliding it. Like, and then all of a sudden I was playing on that, and he basically just took me on as an apprentice, taught me how to mix, taught me how to DJ, taught me what, like, really, really good music really was, and introduced me to an entire new world. And he basically, every other weekend, we would throw our shows at Galactic Center, and I would run door, I would be an opener or a closer, I would basically do whatever was needed. And then 6 months after we closed, I picked up a residency because I had bought pretty much all the gear that he was using because he just didn't want it anymore. And so now I'm probably one of the only 20-year-olds who has a Rane MP 2015 in Arizona, if that.
And that's what happens in Tucson, though.
Yeah, that's just the weirdness of Tucson.
Shit, like, there's so little...
It is just the weirdness of Tucson.
Tang, everyone. Tang in the track. Tang.
Dazed and Confused did their last show, which was their secret show at a hookah lounge, and then everybody in Tucson stopped throwing anything over the summer because there's just nobody here. But I'm crazy enough to be like, nah, I'm fucking here, so I'm gonna party. So I found a DIY punk venue that had like no speakers and no equipment or anything, and it was literally like somebody's fucking living room that they just cleared out and would let people throw like parties and venue like shit in there. And like it was mainly used by punkers, because I just know a bunch of punkers in this rave scene apparently. But so we used that venue. We had maybe 22 to 30 people show up in May, and then the next month we're like, all right, we're using solar, and then we had like 60 people show up, and then we used it again the next month, and we had 100 people show up, and then the next month it was 130, and then 150, and then we threw a free show where like 200 people came. There's people here in Tucson. It's not just the 40,000 kids at the UofA who all disappear in summer. It's actual Tucsonians. There's, I don't know, more than 10 high schools for sure in Tucson. Those are all people that want to party, right? I used to do these house parties when I was in college, and basically we called ourselves Atlas Harmony. And so Atlas Harmony, eventually we just like fell through and we just couldn't like pull it off. Like our first show that I've ever like, I paid for the venue and everything, was a warehouse about 2 blocks down from where we're at right now, about $500, and fucking empty, dude. Like, we didn't know how to promote for nothing, and now we just put out like some dumb shit video of us doing something dumb, and all of a sudden we've got 700 views, and it's like, oh, why didn't we just do that in the first place? So now, stay tuned for more dumb shit, I guess. Ultimately, what Project Atlas is a community outreach program where I provide a platform not only for myself, but for as many local artists as I can find in Tucson. Like, if you want to be a part of Project Atlas, message me, send me a mix, come over to my house, mix on my stuff, show me that like I can put you on stage and that we can work with it, and I'll put you on. Like, I don't give a fuck, you know? It's weird because I remember 2 years ago when I started getting into it all, it seemed like there was somebody doing something every weekend. Like, there was some new company that was doing this and that, and like there's all these different DJs. Now I don't know where it's at, you know? Like, I've got my homies and I'm willing to expand my family as large as it can be. Like I said, I want to establish an LLC, and part of that is not just being an event company, but also a booking company and setting up like actual tours, and not just being in Tucson, but being on a national level. Like, I want Project Atlas to be more than just a party in downtown Tucson. Well, I mean, if you look at it like 2 years ago and even a year ago, it wasn't like bass house, it was all techno. It was like underground techno. Like, Ellie over there would bring some dude from fucking Italy who none of us knew, and it would be the wildest shit that I've ever seen. But, you know, ultimately, my idea is to bring in as many genres as possible. You know, there's the crews like Techno Snobs and Mad World Productions. Like Phoenix has so many more crews. I just did a festival up there, and they had 6 stages in some underground warehouse venue, and it was all the major crews in Arizona. And so I want to bring more people from outside of Tucson. I want to bring people from in Tucson. I've got I actually booked an artist from Chicago who goes by Bot. He was formerly part of Crookers and is going to be doing a show here. Yeah, it's like we're just trying to get, you know, as big as we can, and to not let ourselves be like everybody else who just stuck to Tucson and got stuck in the bottleneck. Because ultimately, I always joke about it, but like Tucson, I love it. It's the best place I could ever grow up, I think. You know, who doesn't love living in a bowl? But I mean, overall, like Tucson is kind of small potatoes, you know? Like, what we do here, there's probably 10 other groups in Phoenix, and that's because this is the 5th largest city in the United States, but that allows groups in Tucson to be more intimate, to actually like have a family consensus to it.